Good evening, friends and family, and thank you and grow Black communities behind Black business to enhance the awareness and support in our community. And that to happen, we need dollars to circulate. We having some connection issues here, connecting, restream. Okay. So for us to stay in the community, we need to make that happen, because they're more likely Black people, they're more likely to give back with opportunities for other entrepreneurs and various communities within this city. We're all about, and this conversation tonight, a tax doctor, who I want to thank you for coming. Also added conversation about a lot of our political that are going on in this city. We want to give you some information tonight. We know we need tax problem that we have here in Chicago, but we want to think a little deeper and give you some information. But before we go up, I do want to mention bookstores, because as you know, repair communities, we are great proponents of our bookstores. That's what tonight is about, nation. Then you can make your own decisions about what you think. But if you know only so much and somebody else only knows so much information, to come together and make a consensus type of decision. So that's why we do have an increase in the number in Chicago. More people are reading. Joint located at 6900 Stony Island is our bookstore of the month. This is a new brick and mortar, nice establishment. They have artwork, they've got t-shirts, they have candles, books for children, books for adults. And the people who run this bookstore are very involved in the community. They support Black authors. They're supporting our children. They have a book club. So they are very into what they're doing. And we ask that you support the book joint. And also, as you know, we have a book giveaway. And the book that they have recommended for this month is How Black History Can Save Your Life by Ernest Krim. And this is someone who was a victim of a hate crime. And they delved into our history, and they delved into all of the civil rights movement and all of the other movements that we have engaged in, and found a way to sustain themselves through this trauma that they were going through as far as this hate crime is concerned. So How Black History Can Save Your Life. If you want a copy of this book, go to rrgbc.org and subscribe. That's all you have to do. We pay for the book and we ship it to you free of charge. So please go to our website and subscribe. We give some really good books away. And we're also asking that you support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union located at 55th and Wentworth. They have a lot of products to offer in lieu of some of the very high interest payday loans. They have car loans. They've got micro business loans. They have personal loans. They don't just give you loans, but they're interested in your financial success. They give financial literacy, counseling, and classes on a regular basis at this institution. So please, in order for a financial institution to survive, they need you to set up an account. So please go to the Southside Community Federal Credit Union located at 55th and Wentworth in the shopping mall and open up an account. And then please go to rrgbc.org where you can donate and support our efforts. Okay, so let's get on with our discussion tonight. As we know, taxes on our property, all of these other taxes and fees that we have, the increases in our utilities and everything is having a huge impact on people in this city. And people are starting to notice that there are less people here in Chicago. Our expressways aren't as heavy as they used to be. Our stores is not as frequented as they used to be. I know we can say, oh, people are ordering from home, they're riding Ubers, and all of this, but people have been riding taxi cabs and people have been ordering foods. This is not something new. May have increased, but it's not something new. We believe that all of these taxes and fees that are being imposed on people, and whoever you impose, whatever institution you impose it on, it comes back to us in some form or fashion. But the property owners should not be bearing 62% of funding our schools. That should not all rest on property owners. It's too much. Our utility bills have gone up. ComEd is going up. They all say they need more money to enhance infrastructure and so on and so forth. And so we have to do something about this. And Anthony Travis has been beating the bushes out here. He feels that we need to consolidate our school districts because, as he has stated before, we have some districts that only have one school. And then you have other districts that have many schools, and so this is just not a good formula. We need to change the system. And I understand our speaker was not in agreement and was refusing to even bring the bill to the floor. Another African American Black person that we have in office, because this is really hurting the Black community. So, Anthony, when I talked to you a little earlier, you said you had some good news, but just kind of fill us in on where we
Well,
are
the
right
good news is I heard, and I'm waiting on the information to come in, that the governor task force on the consolidation of 653 separate police and fire pensions was cut down to two. And the word is that because they did that consolidation, they can save municipalities hundreds of millions of dollars by doing that. And when I first met with the speaker and told him my views on consolidation, he told me my views was too extreme. And so when the governor task force on pension reform took place, and I know the governor's right hand man who headed up that pension reform, I sent a text to the speaker. Now they just consolidated 653 separate police and fire pensions down to two. Was that extreme, Mr. Speaker? Now we have 856 school districts in this state. Cook County has 140 by itself. And when you look at the state of Florida and the fact that they got 2,838,000 students, they only got 70 school district folks, and they county-wide school districts. Illinois University did a white paper on school consolidation. And on page 4 of that report, I found out we got 12 countywide school districts already in this state. And most people don't even know that. And so when we talk to the LRB about writing legislation for us, we said all we want to do is add 38 to the 12. That'll give us 50 countywide school districts. And that's what they did. So my senator, Senator Lightfoot, told me she don't support consolidation. She don't support dealing with the budget because they don't have no money in the budget for the schools to be put on the general fund. And our position is the state doesn't have a budget problem, folks. The state have a lack of revenue problem. There is an organization called Illinois Revenue Alliance, made up of many organizations in Chicago and around the state, and they found billions of dollars in new revenue. And when we look at the AI report that we did, we found out there's between 15 and 20 ways we can fund education without messing with property taxes. And I'm not sure, I think I did send you a copy of that report, Denise.
Yes.
And when you think about
No, you didn't. No.
and when you think about how all this stuff can work in taxpayers' favor, Indiana has a flat tax system at 3.05%. Our flat tax rate is 4.95%. I used to think that it made a difference if you had a progressive income tax. Well, after looking at the fact that Indiana has a flat tax like we do, and they still fund their schools by way of the general fund, then my point is, what the hell is wrong with us? We don't need a progressive income tax to do just that.
Okay, Anthony, can we hold on?
Yes.
Anthony, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, we have Risa Haley. Did you invited her?
Yes. Yes, she's from Springfield.
Yes. Okay, let me see if I can bring her in. There we go.
There she is.
Okay.
That's
Teresa, can you hear us? All right. Thank you.
Yes,
thank
you
for coming.
guys. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So go on and finish your point, Anthony.
And so the point that has to be made is that we don't have folks in Springfield with the political balls to do what needs to be done. Matter of fact, Representative Will Davis, who is a champion for education, informed me many a time they don't have the political will to fix this crisis. We're in a crisis. We don't lost. When you look at the past 10 to 20 years, a new report came out. We done lost $355 billion because people are leaving our state and taking their revenues with them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. That was what I was mentioning at the very beginning. It's coming visible that we have less people here in Chicago. Brian, would you like to make a comment at this point?
Yeah. I can jump in anytime. I'm just listening. I agree. Hey, how you doing, Travis?
All right, buddy.
So I agree. I've been around these conversations for a long time myself, and the will of the elected officials is the problem with everything. So not just tax revenue, but education, economic development, healthcare, housing. It's them. And so I've been around that space for 40 years of my life. And Travis experienced something that I've experienced multiple times over in multiple conversations, from the speaker down to senators and reps and everybody. We're not working on the same page, right? So not just black electeds, it's all of them, right? Because they really all act the same, right? But in our communities, as you guys know, they double down because we're at the bottom of all of it. So as it rains in Springfield, it's a drought in our communities. So one of the things I also want to throw in, and I watched a couple of days ago, I watched our mayor, Johnson, get on TV and create a budget executive order or something or another, right? Not to mention, he already got a budget committee, but we ain't gonna talk about that. So now he got this task force. But the problem is the deficits. So real quick, about 5 or 6 years ago, the state of Illinois, the county of Cook, and the city of Chicago were on the verge of what should have been bankruptcy. Okay. Here comes COVID. Here comes all these Democratic dollars flowing into Illinois. It propped up our economy, which was fake. So what all these agencies, Illinois did it, the city has done it. They moved positions instead of cutting and becoming efficient. They moved to positions from taxpayer funded to grant funded, right? So now the money's gone, and the fact that we have a governor and a mayor that's currently fighting the president. I mean, J.B. Pritzker just doubled down, talking about he about to go against El Salvador. It's gonna cause continued budget problems and money problems in Illinois and Chicago, and we go feel it for their personal fights, right? So that's another angle to it all. But the political will part is it. But here's the caveat: Cook County in Illinois has an election coming up, so there's a chance for a new governor, the new county board president, new senators, and everybody. This sounds like an agenda items, you ask me, where we ask either candidate from any party or independent who's going to support these issue items in our communities. And we talking about, that election is less than a year away, right? So that is all these pathways got to be explored. But absolutely, I mean, Travis is on point. It is too many districts. And let me just say this last thing before I be quiet. He talk about school districts. Don't forget, in Cook County, so you got 102 counties. Cook County has 158 municipalities, I believe, inside of it. That's 158 police departments, fire departments, public works, abatements, and all of it. It's just layered government 20,000 times over. The reason they don't want to get rid of it, because it's their cash cow and their patronage system for jobs for the party. And so they not gonna get us up easily. We got to continue as citizens to talk to have these conversations moving forward. So they have a lot at stake because this is their protections in the township areas and these local municipalities. And we saw, to Travis' point, I mean, look what we're talking about. All those, we got library districts, school districts, mosquito abatement districts, and everybody was elected on April 1st. So we dropped the ball unless somebody was doing it saying, hey, are you willing to consolidate? What are you going to cut the budgets? And we need to have that convo at an election cycle, in my opinion, because now we can have agenda items ran. So, but I'm here for the convo. So, yep, it's a lot.
Okay, so Teresa, Haley, I want to thank you for coming in this evening. Anthony started out this discussion in talking about consolidating our school districts to relieve our homeowners from all of these property taxes that we're getting and how they were refusing to do this. We were going to talk tonight about different ways that we can address this problem in addition to considering the consolidation, but what are some of the other ways? That was something that we were going to talk about tonight. But you obviously bring a perspective from Springfield, and a lot of our people just really don't know what to do, really are not sure what's going on. And we're trying to make that clearer tonight so that people can, as they make decisions and as they try to discern what they're hearing, they have some understanding about what they're listening to.
Well, I would recommend that more people from Chicago, first of all, come down to Springfield, get you some buses and come down and create your own lobby day around this issue. What oftentimes happens especially with your members of your Black Caucus, people want to bring the problem on Springfield. It's not Springfield. It's who you all are electing in Chicago and sending to Springfield. Yes. People get down here and forget where they come from is the bottom line. They say that these issues are not important to their constituents. What percentage of their constituents? For Anthony and the other gentlemen to come down here the last couple of weeks and to be put out of the speaker's office, we're talking about freedom of speech. We're talking about opportunity. We're talking about, I have cousins, family, and friends who live in the suburbs and on the south side of Chicago. People are losing their homes every day because they can't afford to pay their taxes. Y'all's taxes have tripled, quadrupled. And we're upset by saying people are going to Indiana as a result of this. If we're going to tell the story, we have to tell the whole story. And the tax doctor is not a crazy man. He's been doing this and studying this for years. He has the statistical data to back him. He has attorneys. He has Black folks. He has white folks. But for some reason at this point, Black folks want to make him look like he's an outsider, like he's a crazy man. He is speaking truth to power. And it is time for the residents and the taxpayers in Chicago to listen up. When you see something, say something. Right. I'm always putting my foot in my mouth. I was the former state president for the NAACP, as well as the Springfield branch president, who got suspended for repeating what my branch presidents in Chicago were saying about the problem with immigration and immigrants in the city of Chicago. But to God be the glory, I am still speaking truth to power. I am still doing what I need to do. And it is time for us to wake up. Hell, a Black woman can't say that you all have immigrants in Chicago who are raping, who are stealing, who are dealing drugs in Hyde Park. But we can see it every day. My cousins videoed it and shared it with me. But my branch presidents can get on a call with 26 other branch presidents and talk about, hey, we got these people in Chicago and they're acting like savages. Hell, that wasn't my word. That word wasn't even in my vocabulary. I was out of the country and I got suspended for speaking truth to power. Let me tell you about the tax doctor. He's like me. Sometimes we can forecast things because we've been in this fight for a very, very long time, but nobody wants to listen until the white man says it. Now Trump is saying, and it is okay. Now our governor is talking about it and it's okay. And it's a real issue. Black people, wake up. Wake up.
Teresa, you're the one, you were in DuPage County. Well, you're in DuPage.
Springfield, but it was the DuPage County president who tried to bring me down.
I remember you. That's why I was looking at your name. I'm like, she sounds familiar from somewhere. That's where it's from. No, I was with you. Yeah, I got a buddy that's on the.
I won the Image Award through the NAACP, and I've been on the ground for a very long time, and I'm going to continue to fight. I work really closely with Ben Crump and others on Sonia Massey's murder case here in Springfield, Earl Moore's murder case. Well, hell, we need to call this a murder case. Yes. Because you all are losing your homes at an alarming rate. People can't afford to stay in their homes. What happened to family wealth? What happened to creating generational wealth and passing our homes down to our kids? My friends are losing their homes in Chicago because they can't afford the taxes. Who walks away from their home? How many white folks you know walk away from their home? It just doesn't happen, people. So it's time for us to wake up. And Brian said, you know, it's time for us to vote people out of office. It's not about being nice. It's not about being cute. It's about being right and doing the right thing for the right reason.
That's right.
I saw the speaker Saturday morning, and he told me to my face in front of Gary Dingle and Representative LaShawn Ford, I'm not going to call your bill. And they heard him say it. And then
you need to go, excuse me for cutting you off, but you need to go talk to some of them white senators and reps and have them call your bill for you. The best way to call a spade is to call them out. This is an issue that not only impacts Black people, it impacts poor white folks as well.
That's true. Well,
we need a strategy that we will follow. As you say, this is like a chess game. You play this one and that doesn't work. You look at the board and you make another move, you know. And so because we've gotten too complacent, what I can't stand is when people respond to me with the type of responses, oh, well, you know, that's how it is. Or you tell them, yeah, he didn't bring the bill to the floor. Well, yeah. Like, what did you expect him to do? What do you mean? What did I expect him to do?
If the people put you in office to speak power for the people, then your representatives need to be speaking for the people, their constituents. I tell you, they get down here, they make friends, people get comfortable. When we were fighting against the marijuana legislation, the Black Caucus told me, what the hell do I think I'm doing? More Black people were impacted by the marijuana legislation, and now the rich are getting richer. Hell, we still poor. We're
Yep.
still drugged
I
out. We're
think
even drugged out
I
at a
think
higher
what
rate
needs to
because of the THC levels.
I think what needs to happen, just like in this last presidential election, we had no agenda. We had no points that we put on the table. We had no demands that we made. So we have to have demands on the table, including this consolidation of our school districts to relieve us from this tax burden. These types of issues are what need to be put on the table, because what happens, these people run and they run on their own issues. And then when you meet with them in groups, they'll tell you anything. You ask them, do you support this? Yeah, I support this. Do you support that? Yeah, I support that. And so we have to put specific issues on the table. And then whoever is running or whoever is currently in power, those are the issues that we have to present to them, including reparations.
Yeah.
Which
And
I
like
will
in
say.
CPR and first aid, you all need to apply pressure. You're bleeding out
Yeah.
and nobody's listening. Having that agenda, talking about these issues. And even again, if your Black Caucus members won't bring it to the table, find you a white representative that'll bring it to the table, because it's going to impact them as well.
No,
So
I
is that
agree
going to
with that.
be, is that a possible move for you, Anthony?
Well, it's hard to find a white Democrat to do it. Republicans, they'll jump on it. But the problem with getting the Republicans to do it is dead on arrival. Since, quote unquote, we have a supermajority in the House and the Senate. And as Grady and I say, what good is a supermajority and y'all can't solve our problem?
Mm-hmm.
We got the votes. And we know all you need is 60 votes in the House, 30 votes in the Senate. That's 90 votes and one. And that's the governor's signature. The speaker, when we first met with the speaker, this here, I don't know if you can see it, but this here was the first meeting we had with the speaker of our coalition. And he told us to our face, go to my caucus members, meet with them. And that's what we've been doing. Okay. The Monday before the Tuesday where I got kicked out of his office, I'm going back and forth emailing his legislative assistant, well, executive assistant, Micah. The speaker wants you to work with his, again, you talking about the mayor committee on taxes? Well, the speaker got a working committee on property taxes headed up by Jahan Booth Gordon. Now, I was told by the speaker, work with the group. Well, now that he's not going to bring our bill to the floor, the group ain't going to meet with us. Okay. And so getting somebody white to do it. Because I got Nicole Laha to get the bill written up by the LRB. So I did use her for that purpose. It is a sad day.
Well, do you think it would be a good idea to at least have her to bring it to the floor, Brian?
So I think one of the things that we have to be cognizant of in 2025, we can't be saying Democrat. I'm an independent, right? I'm going to vote red or blue or green or independent, whoever is with my issue. We got to stop saying we're Democrat, because the Democrats don't care about you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one of the things we got to get out the bucket. I have relationships. So to give you an example, there's a reparations commission that's going to produce a report soon. And if you guys follow California, what happened in California after they did all the work, the Democratic Party didn't allow it for the vote.
Right.
Okay. The same thing is lining up to be like that in Illinois, except the difference is we don't give a damn what color you are to sponsor this bill. We go into the floor, hopefully with 40 to 50 Republican votes first, on reparations for Black Americans that's going to force and put pressure on these Black folks
There you
and
go.
Democrats to go your way for the future. And I think this, for me, as a strategist, when I look at the local Cook County board race and the governor's race, Dick Durbin just stepped down today. If there's ever going to be a chance and chaos in the world and politics, it's right now. So it's for us to organize around the issues, door to door, talk the same thing as everybody else. Now, I know you mentioned, Therese, you already know this, and I'm part of this thing, been around it. The problem why Black folks don't bring buses and come down there like that is because we're poor and we don't have institutional money. The left is not with us. They're not with us. They're not with people like me because I'm voting for independence away from everybody and self-sufficiency. So I'm not getting university funded. I don't get money from, you know what I mean? And so the challenge is we have to self-fund or find a donor or just get to grassroots. And then we grew up a way where we had block clubs and grassroots, but we also got 40 years of blight, poverty, and apathy in our community. So we don't vote and show up like that because we've been asking for it for 30, 40 years. And they just shut you. What Travis experienced firsthand. Same thing we've been asking for before they bought all the illegals in Chicago. We asking for stuff for our people and they didn't have no money. And here come all the money and they took care of them. So it just, so psychologically, if y'all know it or not, we get beat down over and over again. It ain't that many people into these combos anyway. So we gotta, I think, resetting and kind of going at it in a right way. That reparations thing, in my opinion, it's not, how can I say this? We can probably add this language. I was always one for Travis when I saw Barrios and Preckwinkle admit in an open board meeting that they overtaxed poor Cook County residents for industrial and commercial clients. My first thought was, well, shit, that's a lawsuit, a civil rights lawsuit against the county. And I've talked to Tony and some of the commissioners about the redress of that. You admitted it that you overtax poor Black people, then you should fix it. So cut our damn property taxes for 10 years and let the white folks in industrial and commercial pay for it. Who cares where you get it from, Tony? You know what I mean? So strategy wise, I think it's just a larger effort and it is multiracial. It can be multiracial, but it does affect our community by far more than anybody else because we end up in foreclosure, tax sales, and blight. You all are aware of how commercial properties don't get sold in tax sales. So an owner could sit for 40 years with a piece of property and nothing ever happens. And that's why Harvey and Robbins and all them suburbs look like that, because you don't have to sell. So it's a big problem. But I think the pathway is starting to line up correctly then. What he mentioned with the pension stuff. Only thing I'll say about that pension consolidation, shit, that's a win for the rich. That's a win for the money men, for the Metro Financials and the JP Morgans, because they just about to consolidate and charge fees for managing all them pensions. You know what I mean? So to me, they just grab 600 accounts to put in a fold. They gonna benefit from that. That's why they did it. Whereas they don't benefit from changing property taxes. So I think the pension, in my opinion, the pension consolidation is different. They go about to get rich off that shit. Now they can put it all on. They gonna hire one money manager. You know what I mean? That's gonna just charge everybody fees, and manage all that money. But in any case, it's about us. Teresa talked on it too. We got a lot of issues and problems in our community across the board. And so the property tax issue is one of many that we need to get on. The elected official thing is the biggest one. We send people to Springfield that do not I'll stand on it. I can't name one that it has our best interest every day, 10 toes down for the Black community, for their own voters. I mean, look what happened with the migrant situation. I mean, they
Look
all
what happened
turned
with
on us.
Mary Flowers. As soon as you
Yeah,
speak
look how they
up,
did Mary. Well, that was Chris Welch. Well, that's the speaker
Yeah.
that went Mary. And I know what happened with that. Well, they ran Mary out of office on purpose. And they did all and you got other Black electeds that got with the speaker, and they did it to Mary on purpose, right? And that's a shame, especially look from the party that claimed to be pro women, pro choice, all that other Black girl magic stuff. But guess what they did? They took the Black woman who been down there the longest and kicked up. First, Chris took her out of power, then ran out of office, and everybody just keep going like these things don't matter, but they do matter. So you had a good point you brought up. I'm with you. They
and
do
let
it,
me say this:
and look what they
the
did to
same thing
Tyrell
happened.
Nichols. Shit, they
Yeah.
do to everybody. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Let me say this: the same thing happened in East
Okay.
St. Louis. We fought against the redistricting map, And we were told, members of the Black Caucus, they bought the story. Pritzker called us a bunch of Black Republicans, and we were thinking, I care about people, I don't care about politics. Brian, I'm just like you.
Yeah.
East St. Louis has their first white state representative. Not only did he win the first time, last fall, I was down in East St. Louis with Jasmine Crockett and everybody else trying to get LaToya reelected to the seat. She lost by even more votes this time around. So they still have a white representative in East St. Louis. We're not getting people in office who are willing to speak up and speak out about our issues. I don't care where you live at in Illinois. It's not happening. People get comfortable. They start making money and they forget where they come from.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Which, if I can
and
interject,
even
y'all
right
know,
here in
y'all,
Chicago with that redistricting of the wards here in Chicago, we have people here. They put a part of South Shore and Hyde Park together, and it seems like Hyde Park is getting all of the benefits.
the resources.
You know, they're getting more businesses, they're getting more resources in the Hyde Park. We're not getting anything over here. And we're supposed to be one ward that they combine together. And so we have to get busy, and we're going to have to organize. And I like your idea of people coming together and lobbying, and also to Anthony, if you can't get it in one place, go to another place. And then, like as Brian was saying, if we bring these other people out here and we put them on the table and let people see, because right now in the news media and the propaganda, there's just nothing but all of this fear and vitriol being spewed out here, and people can't see what's really going on. So if they see that this group of people is willing to help consolidate and off of us, then what's wrong with you over here?
Well,
so this is the move that we need to, this is some of the moves that we need to make. But for tonight, I wanted to drill down on your idea of consolidating the districts, the school districts, the pros and cons, and then some of these other issues such as raising the income tax, the progressive income tax. I'd like to cover these and kind of drill down on a little bit. So if you want to talk about consolidating the cons.
Well, the pros is this. When you look at the amount of students we have, we got 1,900,000 students, and we're losing students and teachers every day now. And you compare us to Florida, as I stated before, Florida have 2,838,000 students, and they only got 70 school districts. They got 69 counties. As Brian was saying, we got 102 counties. 97 of the 102 counties lost population. It makes no sense for us to keep on this same path of 7,000 to 9,000 units of government that cost us $33.8 billion in property taxes. We have to understand, township government is 175 years old. They only got three functions. Okay, that is bridge and roads. Used to be to go to somebody's property and assess their property. They don't have to assess nobody's property because that's the function of county government now. And the other function they have is general assistance. They got millions of dollars in the bank in that part of the budget for general assistance, and they can't give the money away because the state government gives you welfare. So if the state government is giving you welfare, why do you need general assistance? Okay. Then when you look at the bridge and roads, those individuals that are over that department, they're making $100,000 a year. And ain't doing nothing for it. Your township assessors making nice money, but don't have to do nothing. Okay. And so Evanston got rid of their township. When we met with the president of the Senate, Don Harmon, he told us, well, Oak Park Township got this youth program. And I'm saying, dude, Oak Park could do that. The county could do that. Again, as Brian pointed out, they're taking these units of government and using it as their patronage and their army. But we're at a point now where we can't afford this system no more. And for the Speaker of the House to have a working committee on property taxes, and then the mayor of Chicago put together a committee. Wait a minute. It seemed like the state and the mayor should be talking about the same crisis, but they're not. So it's as they say, it's a shell game that they're playing. The speaker's playing the game with us, and the mayor of Chicago is playing the game with us.
Okay? Same thing they're doing with reparations.
I was just about to say that, Denise. Look,
same thing. You go to a meeting and they put a committee together in the city on reparations, and then we had that meeting at Kennedy King, and these state reps show up, and people ate them up. People told them, you all are full of it, and so so that's what's happening. So then when you put this consolidation on the table, they're not even going to take it to the table. They don't even want to talk about it. They're pushing back.
I was before I got on this committee, on this Zoom meeting. I'm now a member of the IPO, and so I was talking to them about our bill. I said it doesn't have a number because it needs to be shell, and the speaker is the king of the shell bills. Okay, and so we have to look at this thing from a perspective that, Mr. Speaker, if you don't want to bring this bill to the floor, and you got people in your district losing their property over taxes, and then you tell us the number one issue you hear when you're out in the street is taxes, and you don't want to do nothing about it, you don't need to be there.
Now, wasn't there a response that if we do this consolidation, that our taxes are going to, some parts of our taxes,
income tax was going to go up 137%, your income tax. That's the lie he's telling. Okay. And so
now,
when we put together the AI analysis, you have to look at all of the ways you can raise capital from I put out the octopus, where you have cannabis, you have capital gains, and I talk about having a 3% educational fee on everything. You can, and it's statewide, you can raise all the money you want to fund education, but you also got to have consolidation, because if we raise $50 billion and keep this old system, we're doing good money in a bad situation. Okay. And
so what you're saying, if we were to raise the income tax, if you were to impose a progressive income tax, if you were to expand the sales tax base, if you were, somebody mentioned recouping surplus funds from the TIFs, implementing the financial transaction tax, and then you mentioned the marijuana legalization, the money that's coming from there, the money that's coming from the casinos.
Yes.
Even if you put a tax on all of these things, we still need to consolidate. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. And the reason for that is because you got to cut your costs. Matter of fact, what happened about 3 weeks ago in Riverdale Dalton School District 148. I was at the meeting. It make you want to cry. The board already have a retired superintendent that they was paying close to $400,000 to. So what they decided to do, he's going to get his retirement check, but they just gave him a 2-year contract for $500,000 on top of his retirement check. Okay? And he only got 2 schools. Okay? And then you go to Ford Heights, one of the poorest communities
Yes, it is.
in Illinois.
Yes, it is.
That superintendent came from Proviso East, District 209. Proviso East and Proviso West. He got less than 1,000 students in 2 schools, making about $400,000. Now, Channel 32 went to Ford Heights because they was beginning to expose the nonsense out there. And when you sit there and watch these school board trustees vote the way they vote, it makes you want to cry. Because when you look at the Illinois report card in our community, all these damn schools are failing.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And I'm gonna say one of the biggest things struck me with District 148, which Travis ain't say, I'll say it. He white.
Yes.
So you got a failing ass
Yes.
village with kids can't
Yes.
read, and they voted and gave a white man $500,000. It drives me crazy, right? Not I ain't racist, but damn it, you ain't gonna find nobody black in their community.
It ain't about
it just shows you how sick, how crazy
right.
we are at this
Absolutely.
point, right? How we fail.
Okay,
Yeah.
Teresa.
Oh man, like
I
come
was-
on, y'all.
I was just going to say in 1994, I became the diversity specialist for our school district. And one of the things that they were doing at Ford Heights and some of the other places in Chicago is they were getting all kinds of grant money because of the word diversity. And they were hiring all kinds of white administrators to work with our children with STEM programs. And the money was coming in. So maybe that's why they have that in their reserve, in their pension program, where they can afford to pay these individuals that. Now, my program only lasted a year. They got rid of my black butt. But for the white man who became a superintendent and some of those other things up in the Chicagoland area, they put that money in reserve to protect them now.
I was
Well, in Illinois, it was identified in 2024 that we have the most unequal educational system in the United States. And we have the largest funding gap between the rich and poor than any other states in the United States. We got lower quality teachers, we got fewer after school programs, we got less technology programs. And when I worked for CPS, I saw them get rid of a lot of the vocational programs during my time there. Library, art and music, the speech assistants, the truant officers, all of these people were let go. And then you close 50 schools, and all of the people, all of the personnel that were involved there, all of this money on top of them taking pension holidays.
Yeah.
All right. And so where is the money? Where is the money going? And then you got more money on top of that when they started collecting Medicaid for the special needs children. They weren't getting that money during the time when CPS had excess money at the end of every school year. They had so much money, they had money to spend at the end of the school year. And then you get more money from Medicaid for the special needs children. You get money from forcing the teachers on extended pay. They were collecting interest off of that money. The teachers didn't get anything off of that money. And then here comes the lottery money. So you got extra money coming in. You're cutting off fat. You're not contributing to the teacher's pension. Where did the money go?
Here's a piece I want to bring up too, if I forget real quick, is that you all are aware when they do those budgets every year. So I don't care which district it is, a school district, library district, right? They come up with these budgets. A good portion of those budgets is debt, because they've been carrying debt for decades. So we pay. So the new budget comes up. I think in Chicago, I want to say it's 30% is old debt that they carry forward every budget year anyway. So I get mad because I'm like, we paying pensions for the same civil service workers that allowed all this failure for 30, 40 years. On top of it, I would have filed bankruptcy on all of them. Just let them go. Because we carrying their debt so they can live the rest of their lives comfortable while we struggling. I mean, I think of it a little different, but that's the reality of what we're doing. We're carrying debt for people who failed us, and we just got to stay failed because of them. And they sitting at home today, they not having this convo because they getting that $10,000 check every damn month in a direct deposit. It's us having this convo, and that's part of this whole change of attitude and understanding. And that's why I love these convos, because we got to wake people up to understand that it's this foolishness that keeps us on these treadmills. And then to your point, I mean, we don't get anything. We had a case. There was U.S. Treasury money. I remember, give you a quick. So I was at the county with Todd Stroger during that sales tax thing, and we kept trying to tell everybody that's penny on the sales tax. That 1 penny on the Cook County sales tax was worth $400 million. It's probably closer to 600 million in today's numbers, right? 1 penny increase, and they rode him out of office on it because even though Madigan Day lay about raising taxes, that's a whole nother problem, right? It was just Todd they wanted out so they could bring Tony in. But I'm just trying. The county caps off their property taxes at 720 million. So 400 million is half of that, right? So 1 penny. So all I'm saying, if we could just you could bring in a sales tax for 3 cents and bring in over $1 billion. But to Travis' point, we gotta stop the leaking, because to bring them $1 billion, they just gonna steal it and waste it again. So we can't do that. We got to get rid of all the fraud and waste and abuse before these solutions come in, and they not up to it. So I'm all for organizing and run them out of office because they don't care, they don't listen. It's easier almost for us to just go political, but that's why I'm at anyway. But anyway,
I spoke before the frogs.
yeah.
Craig Crimley
Wimberly, no,
he's part of the frogs. So
yeah,
he's
Boule.
Reven Fellows got me in to speak.
He's Boule.
So Emma Jones, ex-senator, got a chance to speak, but I spoke first. And I laid out my octopus and how we need to deal with the pension crisis. So after Emma Jones spoke, the moderator raised the question, because Emma Jones said, Travis, don't mess with my pension. And then the leader of the frogs made the same comment. And so the moderator said, well, Travis, what do you have to say about what Emma Jones was saying? I say he's selfish. He's selfish. He sat down in Springfield all those
years, ain't do shit.
Passing bills to fatten up his pension, and he did not put his fair share of the money into the pension bucket that you and I have to pay. Now, we done paid him over at least $2 million in retirement. That's what we have paid him. And
nothing in return.
His son takes $5,000 from the red light camera, and I think the jury is deliberating now.
Yeah.
I think they're going to find him guilty.
Yeah. Yeah. He's stepping down regardless. So he's leaving regardless if he's guilty or not. They looking for a replacement.
Good.
So regardless,
so
unless he changed his mind. But
right. Well, where we got to go from here? Part of the problem is the press. We can't get the black press to cover this story. When I'm hearing from the black press, we ain't got no money. But when I look at the various newspapers, this is the South Suburban News. Now, this is owned by a brother. Now, he got 14 outlets to get the story across. I called this brother up 3 weeks ago. He said, Travis, I'm going to have a reporter call you. I called the brother 2 days ago. Where's the damn reporter? Now, when you look at the stories in his paper, the South Suburban News proudly present the 2025 Power Couples of excellence,
Right.
and people losing their damn homes. Give me a damn break.
We just need money. We could buy front page lines and a good story from him for a couple $1,000. So if we got some money, we can get him in all 14 papers. I can get that done because they don't. That's not a real news. Those are not a real news outlet. That's what we do in our communities, right? Shit.
Maybe we need another news outlet. Maybe
We just need an honest one with true investigative reporters that can't be bought off by these same suburban elected officials.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the circles keep coming back around that we lose in because we have such deep rooted problems in our areas and communities like that happens in these walls that they put up to get information out. You know what I mean? Hell, they'll give him some money not to write these kind of stories. You know what I mean? From their own political coffers. I've seen it before. So
well,
yeah, what people is not in this situation is not what in this situation is not what people are saying, it's what's not being said. Right. Or both.
It's what's not being done.
Yeah.
You know, we've been saying it for years. Travis has been saying this. I've known him over 20 years. We've been talking about this dead horse, but nobody's taking him serious and no one wants to deal with it, but it needs to be dealt with. Hell, maybe when some of them end up out on the street or some of their family members, Big Mama and them, then they'll take this issue seriously, but it hasn't hit home yet for them.
Right.
And it's also, it's the homeowners, it's the renters, you people that are renting out there.
Renters too.
Your rent is going through the roof because of these expenses coming to the owners of the properties that you're living in. Your utilities are going up, doubling here in Chicago. ComEd's going up again, or trying to.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting on the report that my friend Grady is going to get to me, and that's only foreclosures of all of these districts because people cannot afford the taxes.
Hey, Travis, he getting that from me. I got it.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, you talked to Grady, man. You know, he was in the hospital yesterday. FYI, did you brought Grady up? He had a seizure.
What?
Yeah, he's okay though.
Okay.
But yesterday, I called his. I'm sorry, y'all. I called his phone. His girl answered the phone like, Grady's. I'm in the hospital with him. I was worried, but he's fine. FYI, so you should give him a call. But I got that info. Yeah, when you need it. Yeah.
Are people who are being impacted? Are they able to appeal their taxes and get their taxes reduced? Are seniors able to get any discounts out there in the suburb area?
This is the shortcomings of the exemption system. Yeah. It don't give you a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you think about Proposition 13 out in California, and you think about Indiana, where you're paying 1% of the value of your property in taxes, and out in California it's 2%. We need that type of system here in Illinois now. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I was watching this guy on one of the real estate programs on YouTube, and he laid it out. He said, I am surprised that we don't have a Proposition 13 in every damn state now. Because people are fed up with these property taxes.
Because here in Illinois, you get an exemption for being in your home for so many years. You get an exemption for being a senior, and then you can get a tax freeze if you're a senior and your income is under $65,000 a year.
And now they want to raise that to $85,000.
Yeah,
but that still don't help the majority of the people in our community.
And then if you're 100% disabled too, you get the tax exempt too.
Right. I'm a veteran. So like I tell you, look, I don't pay property taxes. I'm at 100%, okay, with my disability. But I'm out here fighting because this system is wrong. And unless we can get more people like us fighting to save your house and grandma's house, grandpa's house. The people in Springfield, they have already shown me by going down there with Grady, they don't give a damn. And Grady told me, Travis, the word is, why did I bring your ninja ass down to Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was told. Stirring up problems. Well, if
So
y'all was
how
down there
can
doing y'all
we,
goddamn,
we're getting to the top of the hour here. So how can people support what you're doing, Anthony?
what people can do is support what we're
and then
doing.
what do people need to start doing?
They need to start understanding it's a new day and that they are part of that new day. They have a representative in the House and the Senate, and you need to call them up and tell them you want the schools off the property tax system and you want to consolidate these damn school districts. That's the only way you're going to save Illinois. We got to stop people from leaving the state. And you can't do that if you keep this old antiquated system we have. That's what we got to do.
Are you having another meeting soon?
Yes, the next meeting will be in May, and then the next meeting will be in June. And I
You don't
can
have,
email.
you have an exact date?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Okay. And while he's looking, Teresa, would you like to have any closing remarks here?
I'd just like to say, for those of you who are from Chicago and you send your legislators here, remember the problem's not Springfield. It's who you're sending down here to represent you. And are they fully representing you? You need to listen in on some of those committee hearings. You need to be able to show up and see that they're doing what it is that you're asking them to do. And if they're not, simply vote them out. It's time for a change. The country is changing. And it's time for us to get on board. And y'all didn't say nothing about the tariffs. The tariffs is about white folks getting richer and poor folks staying poor. Hell, they want all of this to plunge so they can buy up everything.
Yep.
And then they own more property. And we own less.
And
But
Wall
we don't
Street.
see that.
Yeah, Wall Street have moved into South Shore, buying up all that property over there. That's another crisis. The next meeting date is going to be May 3rd, Saturday, 12 o'clock to 2:30 p.m., Argyle Garden Library, and June 7th, which is a Saturday, from 2:30 to 4:30 at Argyle Garden Library. Those are the next 2 days. Now, I'll let you in on a little bit of news. I'm waiting on David Seaton's show. He's going to be organizing his show as a platform to get this story out. What we're talking about. And he's catching hell because he's bringing the type of perspective that Brian is talking about, different from being a Democrat.
That's right. It can't, and I think in this last election, a lot of people were beginning to think in that fashion. You know, that me personally, I tend to think that's how Donald Trump got in office, because there were a lot of people that were saying that they're no longer going to be devoted to a party, but they want their issues addressed. They want to be able to. Go ahead, Brian.
My little quick thing. I'm sorry. Is that I was on a call last Friday with a former gubernatorial candidate, Gary Rabine, and he ran against Richard Irvin. Gary's a multi-millionaire in the construction industry. He got a lot of little diversity. His number one issue is the property tax issue and consolidation. So I'm saying, and he's going to fund a candidate this time. Okay, so there will be a GOP candidate run. I don't know who. On this type of platform in this upcoming election. So we'll talk about that again and, see where it goes. But I think to me, that's a tremendous opening, and again, we could talk about this some other time too. It's about strategy, right? You got to leverage it. So if you let the Republican gubernatorial candidate push this first, it puts a lot of pressure on J.B. Pritzker and the legislature going into next spring, January, or the veto session or something. So I think the leverage is what we have. The leverage of J.B. Pritzker running for president, Juliana running for Senate, damn it, and we sitting back letting them just run away after collapsing Illinois. And I think that's the leverage we have if we could organize a black vote. And I'm a pro-black individual, just so you know, Teresa. I just my
Thank you.
lane, right? No, I mean that's my lane. That's all I talk about. Reparations, pro-black freedmen. That's all I do. So, but that alone, that voters block of homeowners saying we demand this. I mean, we talking about hundreds of thousands of voters, and that's the effort that can sway and make this a reality. So I'm all for it.
We got to make
So
it a
let's make it
reality.
happen. Yep.
We
Yep.
got to.
It's a lot going on.
Okay.
And I'm out here fighting for our people.
Me too. I'm with you. We just need to work
Okay,
together on
so
it, man.
we
I'm gonna
are-
reach out to you, Travis.
All right, appreciate
And
you.
so I'll see if we can get this working.
Denise, thank you
Well,
for
we
hosting
Thank you,
this
Denise.
wonderful
the
job.
work that you're doing. Thank you, Teresa, for coming and giving your input, and thank you, Brian, for coming and
Yep.
giving your input.
Yep.
And people, we have to become knowledgeable. We have to get involved. You can't sit back and think somebody else is gonna do what needs to be done. You got to get involved.
When somebody told me I need to go buy me a fishing pole so I can go fishing.
Not yet.
Not
Once
yet.
we win, we can all go fishing.
Okay, I appreciate that.
that.
Good night,
And
everybody.
remember always support Black businesses.
Yes.
Yes.
And thank you for
absolutely.
coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Good night.
All right.